Currently we are reusing courses component in order to show list of courses on the main page as well as on the courses page. But the thing is that these components might contain different elements, such as in our case on the courses page we are also supposed to show pagination, and in order to not overcomplicate things, I'm actually not going to reuse courses component, at least for now, on the main courses page. So instead of reusing courses component on this page, I'm just going to copy the content of this component and paste it directly on the page. So right here we no longer have to use condition to decide whether we have to show pagination or not, since courses page is always going to contain pagination, unless there will be not enough courses when it makes sense to show pagination. So I will just add some paddings to this section element. Let's add 32 units from the top and 10 units from left and right. Let's also remove this px4 class from the div element. I think we don't have to add horizontal paddings in this case. And now title will not be dynamic anymore. So in here we can just directly hardcode courses. And just like I said before, pagination has to be always shown on this page, so there is no need to use this condition anymore. I will remove it. And as for the courses component itself, that is currently reused only once on the main page to show latest courses, there is no need for this pagination, so let's just remove this chunk of code. We will never show pagination in the latest courses section. And before going further, let's just make sure that we don't get any errors on the courses page where pagination is shown, as well as on the main page. In the latest courses section, there should be no pagination. Everything is looking good so far. Now it's time to actually add search field on the courses page. So right away I'll create new component which is going to store search field. Let's call it course search, and this component is going to be placed right under the title on the courses page before we render course blocks. Let's start with adding basic markup into this component. It is going to contain an input field with the placeholder course title or description, because we will allow users to search for courses by using text of the title as well as description of the course. And right down here we need to add the button which is going to be used to apply the search. As for the text for this button, I'm going to use an icon. Let's head over to Phantasm website and search for appropriate icon. In this case, this one will be fine. I'm going to copy over the SVG code of this icon, go back to PHP Storm and use icon component that we have previously created to show all icons in the application. In this case, I'm also supplying one prop name with icon name that we need in this case, magnifying glass. And just because this icon does not exist yet inside icon component, let's open up this component and add one more condition where we'll check that if name will be equal to magnifying glass string, we're going to use search icon that we have just cut. And as we are doing with all SVG elements, in order to not repeat some of the attributes, I'm going to remove duplicates, and instead let's use attributes variable, just like for the rest of the icons in this component. Alright, at least we can see the search field on the page, but icon is not shown yet because it doesn't have any height and widths. So to apply height and widths, I'm going to use size 6. And let's make the color of this icon white. We're also going to apply a couple of classes to button element itself. Let's round corners by using rounded MD class. The horizontal paddings will be 4 units, and let's make the color of this button violet with a shade of 500. And on hover, the color will be a little darker with a shade of 600. Alright, cool, now it's looking better, but we have to position both of these elements on one line. So I will make parent element flexible container, and the minimum spacing between search field and the button will be 2 units. But the search field will grow to cover all available widths. That is why we are assigning flexGrow class to the input field wrapper. And to make this input field stretch, we also have to assign wFull class to the input itself, which is going to assign property width with a value of 100%. And now it is looking better, but actually styles of the input field are not good yet. And to fix those styles, I'm going to install additional Tailwind CSS plugin, which is going to reset default styles of input fields. The plugin is called Tailwind CSS Forms. So to install this plugin, let's run the following npm command. And to include the plugin, we're going to modify Tailwind CSS configuration file and add this require statement to actually include this plugin. It might also require to restart development server, so I'll shut it down and run it again by using npm run dev. And now in the browser we're seeing that input field styles are much better now. But they do not fit well to the rest of styles yet, so let's also apply a couple of additional classes to input field itself, such as rounded MD to round corners of the field. Then we'll make color of the border gray with a shade of 300, and when focusing this input field, the border color will become violet. Also, we're going to add kind of outer shadow by using ring class, and we're going to apply this shadow only when input field is focused. And then the color of this shadow will be violet, and we'll also make that shadow a little bit transparent. Actually, let's apply transparency level 50%. And that's about it. We're seeing the result. When we focus this input field, we can see the violet border as well as violet shadow. And just because this is a search field, I prefer to change the type of this input to be search instead of text. This will be semantically correct. At the end, let's also increase the font size of this heading element and make it bolder. To make it bolder, we're going to use font extra bold class, and the font size will be 5XL instead of 4XL. And that's a good point to finish the current lesson. We'll continue working on the project in the next one.